having said that, we also hear stories, phenomenal stories of men who have defied all kind of odds and won battles and wars. I'm still using the army analogy, and this would be true in a lot of other situations as well, not necessarily just in the war situation. Now, when you look at the leaders, what were they doing? Right? You look at Alexander, for example, right? The greatest conqueror of all times. You look at Genghis Khan, right? Another one. Now, what were they using? One thing that you would notice is that they were using a combination of different kind of triggers. So Alexander wasn't just using the spoils of wars to reward his people, actually. He was also using that massive empire that Greece would be, right? That's what he was looking at. And some of the people were taking pride in the fact that we are the largest empire ever in the world. So with the Mongols, right? So what you look at is a combination of different kind of triggers, because something would work with one, another thing would work with another. What is important to remember is that in the corporate scenario, we focus on the extrinsic motivator. Now, the problem is, it works. It works.
Is that because that's something that one could manipulate, for the lack of a better expression?
That's the right word. You know, even a better explain
Okay.
what is required. That's manipulation, I would call it. But I'll tell you what. When you look at it from that perspective, if I'm looking at using extrinsic motivator, I could be using material motivators. I could tell you, you achieve your target this month and we'll give you a Cadillac. I'm just using an example, right? You achieve your target, we send you on a family honeymoon. I mean, you have a second honeymoon with your wife, right?
That's right.
We say, you achieve this target, we give you so much cash, or we do this, or we do that, we have a party. The entire team goes on a holiday to Hawaii, right? All kind of things we will offer. Now the point is this: what will trigger a response will be defined by what is the key intrinsic motivator for that individual. So you will find for all kind of motivators that people use, the leaders use, there would be at least one segment that will respond. So if you're using monetary rewards, for example, some of the people would respond to that monetary reward. Some of the people would respond to another kind of motivator. You go on a holiday with your family, for example, or the entire team will go on a holiday, a paid trip kind of thing, or somebody will be given a promotion. I tell you that, look, you achieved this target, don't worry about incentives, but you get promoted, you will have a larger patch to work with, more money to make, etc., etc. Now, what I'm trying to emphasize is this, that I talk about 4 factors of motivation. I developed this model along with my 2 colleagues, Dr. Meenakshi Khemka and Dr. Shantanu Roy Chaudhary. And this model says that you could have a very basic sensual drive. We call it the sensual drive, which means it's about the senses. So I give you some banku and fufu, and you're happy with it. It satisfies your senses, and you're happy with it, right? I show you some lovely movies, and you're happy with it. Satisfies your senses. But the impact of these sensual drives, and if you're offering any kind of motivator against it, is very, very limited. It's just here and now kind of thing. You look at the next one, which is about the material drive, and material drive lasts for a little bit more. So you have monetary rewards, you have tangible rewards, a house, a car, and so on and so forth, right? And then you have the emotional reward, which could be more like the family trip to Switzerland, for example, right? And then you have something massive, which is called the spiritual drive. Right. Now, spiritual drive, the best example I can think of is Mother Teresa. Right? And if you look at her, you do things for no reason. There's no emotional attachment, there is no tangible material gain, and there's no sensual satisfaction anyway.
But she was able to reach into people and get them to join her cause.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's the key. You look at yourself every day, you have these drives manifesting themselves in some intensity or the other at some point of time in the day or another. So you want your morning tea, coffee, chocolate drink, that's your sensual drive working at that point in time. You want your tea with your honey, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you love it that way. That's what I discovered yesterday, right? So you want your tea with honey. That's your sensual drive working. You want it with honey, not with sugar, right? Later in the day, you come to the workplace, and one of the reasons can be that you want a particular amount deposited in your account end of the month. That's your material drive working at that point in time. Then somewhere down the line, your son calls you up in the evening and said, "Hey, Dad, when you're coming back, you get me this." Now that's out of the way for you. You're too tired. You already told your boss, "I don't want to stay back any longer because I'm too tired for the day." Right? You're driving back, but you will take a detour, buy whatever your son has asked for. That's your emotional drive at work. And then along the way, you find somebody who is needy, who is seeking help, and you have something in your wallet. What do? You stop your car, pull out the wallet, give to that person. You don't get anything out of that.
And that's the spiritual drive.
That's the spiritual drive. Unreasonable, inexplicable. You don't know why you're doing it, but you do it because it satisfies you.
So does that, am I right in thinking that a great leader would be not one that's just charismatic, but one that's able to tap into ensuring a right mix of your sensual, material, emotional, and spiritual drive to get the team to deliver?
Perfect. That is exactly the line. Now, I wouldn't call him a great leader. I call him a good leader.
A good leader.
Who uses a good mix. A great leader would be one who takes these sensual drives, moves the team away from the sensual drive and the material drive, and brings in a cause which relates more to the spiritual drive.